Welcome to Tea and Shenanigans Season 2, Episode 2. Before we get into, well, first of all, I'm Hannah, one of the hosts of the Royal Chronicles podcast. And normally I'm joined by my co-host, Luke, but he's out today. So with me is my husband, producer, or producer husband.
Whatever works for
We
you.
haven't settled on which. Either way, Mustafa is with us today. A big thanks to everyone that has watched our first Tea and Shenanigans that's been posted to YouTube. That's by far been the most successful. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you enjoy this. But I think we're probably going to start posting more on YouTube because this show has been exclusively been on Patreon. But I think we're going to start doing more on YouTube. No?
Yeah, I love the people, the community on YouTube.
Yeah.
Within our last episode of season 2, which was episode 1,
Right.
The interaction and everything. So why not? Let's put it on YouTube and see. Maybe later
Love it.
we'll go back to Patreon.
All right. Before we get into it, of course, if you enjoy it, like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think. Give us suggestions. We don't bite. Love to hear from you. But we have some fun stuff today, per usual. You want me to just dive right into it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I think everyone pretty much is aware that King Charles has been diagnosed with some form of cancer. The palace has been pretty tight-lipped about what kind and all of that, which, we don't need to know those details. But of course, we don't want to make light of that at all. We wish him all the best and recovery and everything. But related to that, as everyone also is probably aware, Prince Harry made a big scene about, I think it was the exact same day that the palace made the announcement about the king, that Harry, he put out his, thing about, he's gonna be headed straight over there. He's gonna go see his father in this, terrible time and whatever, which is typical of something he would do. Like if you really cared about what was happening with your father, and I would hope he does, you would just go. Why put out a press release about it? Like, you're not an official anything, basically. Like, I don't know. I just think that's so tacky. Just go over there, do what you need to do, see your father, maybe make amends, God forbid. But anyway, there was this whole thing. And of course, Meghan didn't go because I don't think the woman has any intention to ever step foot back in the UK ever again.
I don't know. Well, a lot of press saying that he's trying to fix the damage that happened, even though it was only him went to see Charles, but he wants to bring the kids with him. That's what I read online.
Well, it'd be to their benefit.
But Meghan refused to go back. Last time been there at the funeral, but
the late Queen's funeral.
Yeah.
Well, because if they go back, she loses control. I personally think that's one of the main reasons they both did, but wanted to leave in the first place, because she wasn't the star of the show.
There's something we're going to
talk
about later in the episode regarding the new website and how they're still trying to have the, their what you call it, he wants a prince and she's the princess, right?
No, Duchess, Duke and don't give it away. We'll get into it, but they're still pretending to be royals, even though they're really not.
They don't want to be related to the family by any way, but at the same time they still acting up.
Seriously.
I don't know. I don't get it.
No, nobody does. Okay, but the interesting part, and again, we're not making light of the king situation. It's not about that. It's about Harry. He goes over there. It's 4,000 miles or something, makes a big scene and all this. And according to there are multiple reports. The media was first saying that the meeting between them lasted around 45 minutes. Then it was, it was really only 30 minutes. And then Lady C, as you might know, Lady Colin Campbell, she's fabulous, and her information almost always pans out. She said it lasted no more than 12 minutes. So the man alerts the entire world, travels for whatever 1,000 miles.
Brother.
Oh, no. See, Prince William, they made a point. I believe his people, his office or whatever, put out a statement saying that there were no plans for him to meet with his brother, which it's interesting that it borders on unnecessary. And it's like they did it just to make a point, There are people, again, this comes from Lady C because she knows all. I love her. It's kind of a well-known thing that William basically wants nothing to do with Harry ever. In perpetuity. He has no interest in seeing him, talking to him, nothing. which is
I
really
wonder
sad.
what
But
happened like between both of them to be like that, the
well, all the
relation.
stuff that I'm like all the horrible things that he said about their father, about the queen that is Camilla, about
Hmm.
Princess of Wales, his wife. I mean, I don't blame him in a way. I mean, all the stuff that those two have pulled, they being Harry and Meghan, um, you don't want that around your family. So I don't, I
Yeah.
don't blame him for that. Anyway, so 4,000 miles for 12 minutes, supposedly, allegedly. And then the king takes off for I think they went to Sandringham or something, which good for him. But and then so Harry, he's over there. He's in the UK for all of, I think it was 25 hours altogether. And he didn't stay at any royal residence. He stayed in a hotel and then went back to, well, I think after that he went to Vegas for, get this, the NFL, was the NFL awards or whatever it is, which I'm not a sports person. I didn't even
The
know that was
Super
a
Bowl was
thing.
in Vegas.
Yeah, but there was it was like an awards
Ceremony,
event thing,
maybe.
and he presented like I'm gonna get this wrong. It's like Man of the Year or something like that. A British prince. What does he have to do with American football? What does he have to do with the NFL? I can answer that.
Like they even
Absolutely
play
nothing.
rugby over there. They don't have American football.
No, so it's just nonsense. It just goes to show. I think you can probably hire the dude to do anything.
Maybe
We could test it. See what it would take. I mean, everyone's saying that they'll show up to the opening of an envelope, but for the right price. Anyway, okay, moving on. So, well, we might as well talk about the website since you brought that up. I believe that was launched yesterday, sussex.com.
Is it, you showed me, does it say it's like the office of the Sussex?
The office of the Duke and Duchess of...
It's not even the virtual office, the office.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to where I heard this because I think it was a great point. I believe I heard it from Brittany. She's over at the Royal News Network on YouTube. Love her stuff. And I think she put on Twitter, she was like, the office of what exactly? You're not elected officials. You're not politicians. You're not working members of the royal family. You're barely even members of the royal family anymore. Like, what office are you talking about? And they have like there's a page for him, there's a page for her, his and hers, and it's just this over exaggerated, they've done this and they've done that, and they're just like, it's all old news and it's overdone, and anybody that's paying just a little bit of attention knows that it's ridiculous. But anyway, they've said that they're like best-selling authors and humanitarians. Oh, my favorite, in the first paragraph of Meghan's little ditty, it says she's a feminist, and I nearly laughed when I read that because I don't get that. I never have. She's claimed to be a feminist for a long time, but she has a history of allegedly not being nice to other women. All that alleged bullying that went on over at the palace was, women that she was, again, allegedly, but whatever. And my favorite part is the fact that no one would know she existed were it not for her marrying, a man, and everything she's done in her life has been because of a man. So I don't know that how much of a feminist that makes you, but what do I know? Crazy. Okay. Oh, and then this is new. Actually, I had to add this at the last minute before we started doing this. So I was gonna talk about how things have not been going their way, and they've been losing, the Spotify deal and this, that, and whatever. Well, I have to take it back because I was wrong. They've had some new success. Meghan has found a new home for her podcast.
Really?
Can you believe it?
Where is it?
Okay.
Like, is it a streaming platform or?
Oh my gosh. So it's called Limonada Media.
Oh, what?
Exactly. So they go from, or she, whatever, goes from Spotify, known all over the world.
Number one.
Precisely. And this is according to the Hollywood Reporter. Meghan Markle strikes new podcast deal with Limonada Media.
Probably they're going to do their production, maybe, like not a platform to.
And just from what I'm reading, it's just very... B list. It's not. It's
I never heard of it.
exactly me either. And I like podcasts. Obviously, I try to keep up with things like that, and I have no idea.
Mhm.
But part of me is kind of excited because now we're gonna get another season of her archetypes, which again, I don't think she knows what that word means because her podcast was about stereotypes.
Mhm.
Look it up. There's a difference. Anyways, so yeah, I guess I wrong. I gotta admit when I'm wrong.
I need to look into that. I never heard of Lemonada before.
I just can't imagine. I'd be kind of embarrassed. I mean, it kind of goes to show her. She just goes full steam ahead, regardless of.
The only thing
It's
I
a
would
step
think
down.
maybe if they of course a step down, like instead of from going like from Spotify to Apple Music or Amazon, those people were here, or what was Clubhouse or wherever, like people were do podcast on. She goes to a platform no one heard of.
That tells you that she's scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like that's the best she could do.
Yeah.
Insane.
So the main thing that happened this week or last weekend, let's say, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's get into that.
The Taylor Bowl.
Taylor Bowl.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's our episode name,
It's the
I
Taylor
guess.
and what's the dude's name? Travis show.
Kelsey, what's his name?
So listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
There was all this talk about will they, or they being Meghan and Harry, or won't they go to the Super Bowl? Because yeah, it's a professional sports game, but it's also like one of the biggest events of the year. All the rich and famous who's who, I think I read that the cheapest tickets were like $8,000, and then the most expensive was like $2 million for one of those boxes or whatever. So we're not talking about like average people going to this event, right? So you go there to be seen and schmooze and whatever. So I was on the thought that they probably would, like they would, scrape and claw to get there just to be amongst those people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it came out, I guess, I don't know if their people put it out, but turns out they weren't going to go, not going to the Super Bowl because, they're so busy. They're so important. I think in reality, it had something to do with, because I know they're going to Canada
or
regarding the Invictus games, but
what I'm going to say probably.
Tell us.
They did not get a free ticket.
Oh,
no free tickets.
Listen,
what?
Okay, if Beyonce,
we know they are free riders. Like they trying to find anything free to do.
Right.
Hey, we want to go home. Like you went all the way to Jamaica, and then like you're trying to find a free flight back home.
They do that all the time, allegedly. So. Yeah, no. If Megan's bestie, Beyonce had called her up and been like, "Hey, girl, come, into our $2 million box or whatever," or a bunch of those other people, they would have so been there. I think. But then on the other side of it, the flip side, which this is also kind of believable, it's reported, and I believe there was multiple articles, but one I saw was from I think the Mirror maybe, but or the Daily Mail, whatever. Was that they didn't want to go because they didn't want to be overshadowed by Taylor Swift. As if let's say Taylor Swift was not there, this whole Taylor and Travis thing had not become a deal. Even if they went under those circumstances, they still were not going to be the stars of the show. Everywhere they go, they are like, they're side notes, So, I totally believe that also. Meghan was probably like, there's no way I'm going, and I'm not going to be the one that's most talked about. But anyway, you might have a better point about the not getting in for free thing.
There are free riders, freeloaders, whatever you want to name them. They just look for anything free.
Or like that dude from Spotify. I forget his name. They called them, grifters. He used another word before that, but we're not going to say it. So I say he was spot on. But yeah, so that was Taylor Bowl, which, I mean, I'm not a sports person, but it seems to me that it was kind of boring.
I don't know what type of life they're trying to do or have, raising kids in it. It's just not healthy environment. What's going on?
Oh, I agree.
And I'm predicting one day soon, maybe we're gonna hear that they're breaking up.
Oh, that's been the rumor for a while. I don't know. I kind of think that they each have more that they can get out of the other. Especially, I mean, Meghan for sure, but I also Harry maybe in a different way. I don't know, could be. But as long as they're in California, he's gonna get the short end of the stick. That's for sure. If they do break up, community property and all that,
Mm,
she will take him to the cleaners. I think I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility to suppose that he might like to get out of it and go back home, but he knows that if he does that, he might lose his kids, which, I feel for him on that. That'd be awful.
yeah,
So who knows? We can speculate, but there's no telling.
yeah. She had him around her finger.
Oh, yeah.
She's controlling him like Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
All those strings on him can go left or right.
Well, as we know, as I said before, she is Diana reincarnate, and
Yeah,
I think in a weird way he
trying.
almost believes it. It's kind of creepy.
She knows, and then I think we talked about outside the show that she got trained like by someone, her PR manager, whatever. Like, see that target? That's your
Yeah.
like way out ticket from being a class B
D-list.
actress
What are you talking about?
or D-list, whatever, like actress. You cannot make it outside suits and just made like few cameos in movies.
Yeah.
So this is your ticket out.
What are you talking about? She starred in Horrible Bosses.
Yeah, for 5 seconds. She
You mean
was delivering
cameo?
the FedEx package at the first.
But you see, in her brain, I think she's like,
She
yeah, I
thinks
starred in it. Yeah.
Probably she thinks like,
had
oh
a-
my God, I'm a good
line.
actress and
Yeah.
they want me to do like a cameo to make the movie better maybe or something like that. There's a lot of people, they think that's a cool thing. They don't know, like, you know what? We were looking for someone to do a cameo and we have like extra $10. So yeah, here you go. Come over. Anyway.
That's a good segue though, because the whole suit spin-off thing. You want to get into that?
Let's finish the Super Bowl. There's more stuff coming in about the Super Bowl.
Talk to me.
So just now, like today, there have been rumors that Taylor Swift kicked out, what's his name?
Oh, Kanye West.
Kanye West from the Super Bowl. How? What? I have no clue.
I read a headline
just saying
about
that he was kicked out because of Taylor Swift. I know there's a feud between them, been going for a long, long time since Kanye West, I think back in 2018 or something. He had a clip, I think it's even been removed from like YouTube, where it shows like celebrities in bed. One of them was Donald Trump, when he was elected president, but they were all naked. It shows Taylor Swift, but it's not Taylor Swift. It's just like they did her face.
I think I vaguely remember this.
Something like that, and it's been removed at that time. Even had Kim Kardashian at the time in it.
Oh, I saw a bunch of articles talking about how, Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian were there and they're like arch rivals and they risk running into each other and all this. My thing with all that, though, it's Hollywood. Lord knows how much of that is actually real and how much of it is it's for the press. It's for attention. Yeah.
It's not just that, like, it's all about
money.
Not just money. It's, in a way, they can get their names out again.
Well, yeah, attention.
So, yeah, attention. And, like, even people who are killing to do the Super Bowl, and it's free, but the attention they got, then their numbers, listeners, all of that will go out of the charts. So, yeah, that's their way to be, like, back, and especially, like, Taylor Swift this past year and this year, everyone, even whoever never listened to Taylor Swift, they know who's Taylor Swift now.
Yeah. It's been really kind of strange.
She went up when she first started and then went down, came back around, I would say 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And then it was quiet till suddenly like went back again in the past 2 years and everyone started getting crazy about her. She had a movie about her concert, like the tour last year. And apparently made a lot of money. That even it's like it was awarded or nominated because it broke the box office.
Yeah.
So isn't that crazy?
It is. Yeah, the people seem to have kind of strong opinion. I don't really have a strong opinion about her one way or the other. Her music's not really my thing. I don't hate it. I don't hate her, certainly. I don't know her.
So you're not a Swiftie.
No, I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm not hating anything. It's just not my thing, that's
Yeah,
all. But there are some people that just love, I mean, everything she does. I might know a handful of songs just from hearing it on
it's
the radio or
poppy.
something, but
Yeah, poppy. I don't think it has a lot of like bad words comparing to other
oh yeah, no, it's very
rappers
tame.
and hip hoppers, female that people consider like role models for their daughters. I would prefer Taylor Swift over like what's her name, Nicki Minaj or Cardi B.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Okay, we're going off the rails with
other
this.
let's
Yeah,
go
no.
back. Yeah,
Okay. So,
Suits.
Suits.
A new thing about Suits,
The
the
spin-off of
spin-off of
Suits.
Suits. An actor, it's not like my favorite, but I liked him because he played a certain character from the DC universe in a TV show at CW a long time ago. I think it was 2010 or 11. His name is Stephen Amell.
Mhm.
He was in the Vampire's Diary, I believe, and he was even in Ninja Turtles, the newest movies they
Mhm.
made. And he has a TV show he made on Stars Network about wrestling. I think it's based on a true story, something like that. He's Canadian.
Mhm.
I met him back, I think 6 years ago, and he signed an autograph for me. So today, out of nowhere, it just showed up that he's been casted for that spinoff.
Yeah.
But the main thing is what you were about to say about Suits.
Oh, about Meggie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember seeing little bits here and there being sprinkled around talking about how maybe she'll be in it, maybe she won't. Because you know how busy and important she is. Like she
Mhm.
might not have the time. And then there were stories talking about, well, maybe if she's not in it, maybe she'll produce it. Maybe she'll direct it, some of it, whatever. Which I totally believe that's either her or her people putting it out there just to see if maybe, the people that are actually producing it go, oh, what a fantastic idea. How could we not have thought of that ourselves? And call her up and be like, Meghan, we want you to, okay, you get my point, right? So in reality, what has happened is that she has no involvement with it whatsoever. And I saw an
Mm.
article that said Meghan Markle will not be in Suits spinoff despite a perfect role.
Didn't she was kicked out or something, like replaced from the original series?
Well, the story is, and I don't know if I guess I should say allegedly because we're on YouTube, but the word was that when she started sniffing around and then dating Harry, she was very likely going to be phased out of the show. I guess that would have been back in what, 2016, 2017, something like that.
Mhm.
And that her character was going to be phased out and that would have left her with nothing because it's not like she had a bunch of stuff
Mhm.
lined up. People weren't clamoring for her despite what she might want everyone to believe. So, yeah, it wasn't I don't know if it was going to happen, but there was talk that it was going to happen. And yeah, I mean, she was 6 on the call sheet. She was not a big character. I've seen some of it. It's, as I've said before, it's not bad. I don't hate it. It's okay. It's an okay show. But she wasn't like this big thing, She really
Mhm.
wasn't. There were several other people that were much more prominent than she was.
The thing is, for her, like, if she's trying not even to be on the show, just to be as producer, her name, that will kind of give her royalty with everything going on now with the SAG
Oh,
and
I'm sure she would
all of that.
love to
That
do
will
that.
give her a lot of money. Be like, oh, and add to her resume, she's a producer,
Mhm.
even though probably she will not do anything regarding like
Well,
producing the
that's the whole
show,
deal with
marketing the stuff. Yeah.
Netflix is, she's not going to be in it. She's not going to act in anything, but to produce and develop and whatever. I think somebody from Netflix, one of the executives, said the other day that she and Meghan and Harry had stuff, in development, scripted, non-scripted,
Mhm.
whatever. Who knows if anything will become of that? But yeah, I think that was the plan to begin with. She bagged a prince, a not very smart prince. They stick around for, I don't know, what was it, 18 months. They bolt out of there. They go to Canada and then to California, which everybody by now knows probably the idea was to go to California from the start. There's talk that before they even left the royal family that she was lining up stuff with Oprah and whatever.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think the whole idea was she becomes internationally known. She becomes a household name. Now it's infamous rather than,
Yeah, but
famous.
so
But
far,
to
like,
go back to Hollywood and find the success that she never had, I think that's her lifelong dream. That's what she wants most in the world, is to be Hollywood royalty, not actual royalty.
since
And
she failed
to
being an
be
actual
A-list,
royalty.
like that's what I think she's willing to do anything,
Hmm.
and she's done pretty much everything, and it's not working. It hasn't worked
Yeah.
because despite what, it's not like everybody in Hollywood is some great talent, but the people, I think it's fair to say that most of the people that are what you would consider to be A-list they might be weird people, they might be bad, but they're talented.
Yeah. So before we go to the next part of the show, I want to thank our sponsor for this episode today, Owl and Otter
Oh yes.
Espresso in Lake Placid, Florida. And as you can hear, I start losing my voice today. That they provided me with tea.
They
Well,
did.
what type of tea? I don't know. You're the one who picked it up and making it for me.
Oh, well, the tea they have multiple teas, and the tea companies, they're not sponsors, just throw it out there. But what is served at the shop is they have Rishi tea, which is the video that we made. If you haven't seen it, if you're interested, it's a fun little video we made. It's the favorite beverage that was the favorite beverage of Marie Antoinette and Queen Elizabeth
Produced
II.
by me.
Yes.
See, I'm better producer than Meghan.
Beautifully produced. Oh yeah, of course you are. My goodness, I'm not even being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But anyway, in that video, when we made the tea that the late Queen Elizabeth enjoyed, which is Earl Grey, it was the Rishi tea because that's what they have. They also offer, and this is my personal favorite, Yorkshire Gold. And I think that's what you're drinking.
Yeah, it is good actually. It reminds me a lot of kind of an Indian black tea in a way that I used to drink. Even though I like everything sweet, but it is good.
Yeah, you have
like
a little
it.
tea with your sugar, just like you have a little, coffee with your sugar.
Yeah. So anyway, so check them out online. It's owlandotterco.com. And if you ever visit Lake Placid, Florida, make sure you stop over there.
Is it that, or is it Owl and Otter EspressoCo.com?
No, it's owlandotterco.com.
Oh, see, I don't.
Yeah.
I should know. They're our
I was
sponsor.
just on their website. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and also check out our video on the drinks. It was just fun.
On YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back again. So
we're winding down here.
What do we have in agenda today?
Well, we could end on a kind of I wouldn't say it's sort of positive. It is positive. So I think everyone knows that the Princess of Wales was in the hospital for abdominal surgery. That's the extent of our knowledge, which, of course, we don't need to know any more than that. She then went home, which, of course, is a good thing. And then I think it was reported a couple of days ago now, as we're recording, it was a couple of days ago, that she was able to leave home for the first time and go to, I think they were all going to Sandringham because it was like a kind of a short school holiday for their children. So that's nice to hear. That's a positive.
Good. So what about everyone's talking about Nostradamus?
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I can't believe I almost forgot that. Okay, listen, guys, listen to this. If you follow our social media, and you absolutely should, I mean, of course, if you want to, I'm very active on Instagram, but we're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all the things. But I had posted a while back, there were a few articles going around talking about the predictions of Nostradamus, which he lived back in the 1500s. He wrote a book. I don't remember what it's called. It was in French, and made all these predictions, which some of them have come to pass. And one of them is made for the year we're currently in, 2024. And his prediction, it's something along the lines of, the king of the Isle will be forced out and replaced with someone who bears no mark of a king.
Mark of a king, yeah.
And listen, there's all these people that were like, oh my gosh, maybe they're talking about King Charles, and maybe whoever's going to replace him, maybe it's Prince Harry, all this, which I'm just going to put, God forbid such a thing, because for Harry to become king, there would have to be some kind of horrible tragedy. I don't even want to think about it. But, so that's what people were saying. And then with the announcement of the king's cancer diagnosis, it's kind of resurfaced like, oh my gosh, something is happening to a monarch and the king, a monarch of the Isles, so
Mhm.
like the British Isles. I think that's why people have drawn that conclusion. But I
He did
have
not specify where exactly. He just said an island, right?
yeah, but people that have interpreted it have said, I think almost exclusively that they think it's the UK.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of monarchies, a lot going on, a lot
Yeah.
of the monarchies without naming what countries are in.
Oh, sorry, that was me.
I was
Apologies.
like, what? I
I
didn't
know.
see my phone. Anyway, so back to the show. Not naming any countries, but some of them, they're having like kind of going in a different way what they used to like as people in a country, or like, now they're taking a different route. Probably
Mhm.
positive for most of the people, which I'm included.
Mhm.
But some other people, they're really against what's going on. But if it's on UK, because he said an island.
Mhm.
Mm, I don't know.
I have a different theory, and I
Mhm,
realize I'm not an expert and I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But just based off of the wording and the language, no mark of a king. What came to my mind was, and again, this is something I would hate to see happen. I hope it doesn't. But let's say that something does happen to the monarch, and maybe it's not that he passes away. Maybe he steps down. Maybe it could be something else.
mhm.
But and then is something happen the monarchy, let's say, is dissolved, it's abolished, and then it's replaced with a republic, and whoever the leader of that would have no mark of a king, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to me to say that it can be Prince Harry, because um yeah, he's the spare, or he was the spare, not really anymore. Um and and whatever, but he's still a royal prince by birth. He's still the son of a king. So let's say, again, God forbid, something happened, and all of the, let's see, one, two, four people that are in line ahead of him, I think it's four, something happens to them, or they just step aside, or whatever it is, again, God forbid, and he becomes king. To me, that you couldn't say that he bears no mark of a king. He's the son of a king. Again, he's a prince. Like,
What if the monarchy fall and change to be a republic?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So,
That would make more sense to me if we're talking
so
about the
yeah,
wording of the prophecy, or the prediction, or whatever you want to call it.
yeah. What if that happens?
I hope not.
And
I'd be
like
really
then they're
sad to
gonna
see
be
that.
replaced by like president
Yeah.
and prime minister, which they already have a prime minister, but probably within that that's gonna change a lot.
I guess it could be
So
that,
whoever's gonna come, he doesn't have a mark of a king. He's gonna be a president. But at that
or
time,
it could just be they would dissolve the
the
monarchy
thing
and just keep
is,
the
I
prime
don't.
minister.
Yeah, at that time there was just monarchies like Nostradamus time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe would an outsider, like, remember at that time, all I remember is just like kind of a Robin Hood story. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they came, they took the king, someone who was not even from the bloodline, and he announced himself like king. So at that time, that's how world used to be ruled. A king dies, and someone whoever
Yeah.
started the war against that king will become the king, even though from not the same bloodline.
I get where you're coming from, but in the 1500s, by then there had already been, the Roman Republic, for one. There had been big successful states and governments that didn't have monarchies, and I'm sure he was educated and was aware of that. So
He
who
was
knows?
educated. He was
Well, yeah,
a
that's what I'm saying.
medical
So
student,
who knows what he meant by that?
and he had different ways to approach. I think it was the Black Plague at that time when he was a medical student,
Mm-hmm.
Nostradamus, and they did not like the way he approached on how to deal with it. Some of them they considered at that time witchcraft, and
Oh yeah.
especially with the human anatomy. And
Let me guess. He suggested like washing your hands or something.
yeah, that was, he was like, you
Unbelievable.
cannot defeat that without you being clean. You need to burn those bodies, not just put them.
Uh huh.
So that's how you. At that time, there was not a lot of hand sanitizing and stuff like that. But and especially in France, they had a reputation at that time. They were not the cleanest people.
Well, if we're talking about that time period in history, there were plenty of places that had
Yeah,
issues with that.
with that,
This is
but
taking a dark turn.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we're talking about Nostradamus. So, but again, about the mark of the king. So, I mean,
Who
who
knows?
knows
Maybe
if
nothing
it's
happens. I kind
nothing
of would hope nothing
happens.
happens.
Yeah.
The royal family has had a lot in the last couple of years, and I kind of hope they get a break because it's
Mm-hmm.
been wild, ridiculous to a degree.
Anyway,
But
yeah.
anyway, I think we've come to the end today. That was a lot. That was a wild ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially regarding the Super Bowl.
No, yeah.
But that would be a good chance for her since this year showed 110 million viewers for the Super Bowl. The
I
100
think it's the most ever I read, the most viewers for a Super Bowl ever.
No, the last year with Rihanna,
Yeah.
it was 118 million during the halftime show just to watch Rihanna, and then went down to 150 million
Interesting.
as an average for the rest of the game. But yeah, because I don't know, everyone was kind of ticked off because of Taylor Swift. A lot of people refused.
Like my
to-
little brother. My little brother is, I mean, he's not little. He's about to be 16 years old, but he's obsessed with sports. I mean, his life is football. And that child, he was rooting for the 49ers, I think,
Mhm.
exclusively because he was tired of the Taylor Swift narrative.
Even though he likes Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah,
but
he loves Mahomes.
he just had enough.
Yeah, he reached his Swiftie limit. But anyway, all right. Well, okay, this has been fun as always. Thanks for listening. Of course, if you enjoyed it, like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment.
Mhm.
Tell us what you think. Give us some
Suggestions.
suggestions. If you see a story about, the gruesome twosome or anything related to royals that you want us to talk about, maybe you have a different take on it. Love to hear it. We don't bite.
Sure.
Generally
And
speaking, we don't
make
bite.
sure to follow us on Spotify and Amazon Music for our almost weekly regular podcast.
We started out wanting to be weekly, but it's been more like every couple of weeks.
It's just
Life
a
has
lot
just been
going
so
on
crazy.
at the moment. We moved to a new area, a new house, work, both of us. So we're trying, but hopefully by the end of this week, a new episode will come out.
Yep. And Luke and I, we pretty much are, I think we said in the last podcast episode, we're going to be revisiting Monaco because our first episode on Monaco has been the most listened to, the most popular so far. And there's a lot to talk about with them. So we're going to do that. And then I know that probably after that, we're going to do something about Belgium because we had a listener request.
Yes.
So that'll be fun.
There's a lot going on. We have a lot of stories coming from China and Africa, so please stay tuned.
Other monarchies.
Not
Teen Shenanigans.
Not Teen Shenanigans.
No.
This is different. This is just gossip. And our own opinions and what we read on the news and like Twitter, whatever. So
yeah.
Anyway, well.
That's it. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. Giving us your time, and we really hope you enjoy it. But
and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right. Today we're recording today. It's the 13th. So wherever you are in the world,
happy Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next time.